So recently I was looking at some studies. I mean, a study. And it said that like waiters are able to predict the amount of tip they're going to get depending on how well done the client orders a steak, right? And I was like, damn, I had not thought of, this theory, but I sort of took it out even further. Like, can you tell somebody's personality, how smart they are, how professional they are in life, based on how well done they get their steak? And I wanted to get your opinion on this, because you're a chef, right? I sometimes hear people online that are cooking steak. They're like, look, this is how I like it. Are you jerking off the mic? This is how I like it, but if you want to cook it, well done, you paid for the steak, that's up to you, that's respectable. And I kind of feel like they do this in a fake way. Like, you're telling people, oh, if you want to cook it well done, well, you pay for it, do your thing. But in reality, you're just doing that so people don't feel bad. Now, I'll give you my honest opinion, and then I want to get your honest opinion, but real honest. I do feel like there is a correlation between how you get your steak done and maybe how much experience you've had.
Oh, experience.
Yeah, but that too. How much you've experienced life, and also how... I mean, because tipping is not always related to how you're doing in life financially, but there is a correlation with doing better financially and getting steak less cooked, right? Now, there is a discrepancy depending on the continent you are. I feel like in Europe, at least in Spain, they like their meat a little more raw than the average in the US, and I appreciate that. I've become, a little bit of a blood dog. Where if I see the blood, they say, I mean, you could say I like to run the red light.
Any kind of blood. It's not only meat.
Right, it's not just animal blood. So, I mean, this is not to say I'm Jeffrey Dahmer or anything like that, but first of all, how do you like your steak? And then do you think that it does tell a little bit who you are? Like when you're in the back in the kitchen and somebody orders a steak and they're like, oh, they want it well done, are you already making judgment inside of your head?
There's always judgment about well done steaks. Yes. As soon as I see a well done steak, I get mad. Because why are you wasting such a nice piece of meat? But yeah, definitely judging as soon as the ticket comes in. But I never knew, or I never thought about the tipping system regarding the doneness of your meat. I'm more of a medium kind of guy. I can eat it raw like they do in Spain. But yeah, that's I can never do well done or well. That's just a travesty.
Now, when you say medium rare, is that a little bit less cooked than the sort of medium, right? Medium rare is a little bit less.
Correct. Yes.
Would you say that medium rare is sort of the medium in Spain?
Medium rare? No, actually, medium rare is like the rare in Spain.
Okay, but I guess what I'm trying to say is that in Spain, the default option, right, is that more cooked or less cooked than medium rare in the US?
It's same to less.
Okay.
Same to less cooked.
So it's either the same or maybe even a little less cooked in Spain.
Correct.
Okay, so you do agree. I mean, you worked in a Spanish restaurant. You do agree. I mean, I don't know if you work with steaks. I know you work with seafood, but would you agree that indeed in Spain and maybe even in Europe, their standard is a little bit more rare in the meat?
Right. Yes. That's. It seems like that's the normal. Okay. Everywhere I went, when I went to visit, they just serve the meat rare. It seems like they only sear it and then they just serve it to you room temperature. Right. But that's fine with me.
Okay. This is my thing. I mean, sometimes I have had steak in Spain where I'm like, damn, this is very raw, but I still, go as an adventure to taste it because I do understand, okay, look, this is how they do it here. Let me taste it. And then it ends up being good enough, Like, for example, recently I went to a hot pot place I'm pretty sure people are aware of how it works. It's like this little Asian restaurant where they put a pot in the middle with soups that are boiling, and then they bring meats that are normally thin sliced cut with like a slicer. And normally it's frozen meats so that it makes it easier for them to do like these little rolls. And what ends up happening is that, you just need to put them in the boiling water for some seconds, right? 7 seconds, 8 seconds, and then it's already sort of cooked. And it's not gonna be totally cooked because you don't want that. You kind of want it a little red, but already cooked, and then you mix it in with the sauces, and it's an explosion in your mouth. And I love it, right? Hot pot is one of the new things that I'm experiencing, and I really like it. But I was, with my family eating there, and my dad, he was like, "Look, I'm just gonna try this thing without even cooking it, because this is kind of like carpaccio, for people that are a little bit more high end. Carpaccio, right? It's just thin slice beef, and indeed, that's totally fine. I mean, in Spain, I've even heard they do that with some pork. Maybe I'm talking shit.
I think the whole cooking the pork to a high temperature, that's like an American thing.
Okay.
That's like a I don't know. We don't trust our animal system.
Right.
So let's just cook the shit out of it so nobody dies.
And when you say American thing, I might even extend that to American continent. Like that's how it is also in South America, Central America. I mean, even more so,
we don't know
right?
where the pork comes.
Yeah, and people have died because of parasites in the pork. But it is amazing to think that here in Spain, I mean, they do cook pork, but pork is, they don't have that fear. Pork here, if you were to eat it raw, it won't kill you.
Might make you a little sick, but not send you to...
Right. Now, I have seen this, and maybe it's just on TikTok and Instagram Reels, but I've seen in Asian countries, I can't remember the one, so don't get mad at me. I'm not sure. But where they do like carpaccio type thing in an Asian country with chicken. Is that even like a thing? Have you heard of that?
I've only seen it in those reels.
Okay.
I've never seen...
Do you think it's real?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if chicken is the way to go.
Raw chicken is like, that's crazy. I mean, even if the chicken, you raised it yourself, you thought it, how to multiply, add, whatever, like it's your little thing. You've taken care of it. You make sure you gave it all the, the shots or whatever, the polio. I mean, that's still, there's reasons why they don't do it, right? It has like salmonella, I've heard.
It's not safe.
It's not safe. But with the pork, depending in different places, you might be able to get away with it.
My chicken, I cook it a little bit under, like a few degrees under, but nothing to be worried about. Like it's not gonna be pain.
Right.
It just makes it a little bit juicier.
Well, that's something I was gonna ask you. The problem with chicken is that the leeway that you have between it being done and then being dry is very small. With steak, you're able to sort of, you can risk it, but you risk it under, right? You're like, okay, I think this is enough. Maybe it's a little undercooked, but that's kind of what I want. I want blood in my mouth. I want to remember the times back in the day when we used to fight different empires and we used to, die by swallowing our own blood in the middle of the battlefield in Waterloo, right? But when I'm messing with the chicken, I want it to be done, but I still want it juicy. And I feel like that is the hardest, the mix to get, like the perfect balance. Is there a little trick that you do that you've learned along the way?
Bathe it in butter or oil. No, when you cook it in oil, just add a little bit extra. So then you can bake it, like baste it. Baste it. That's the word. Forgetting this.
You baste it? That's the word.
Baste it. That's the word. That's when you grab your spoon and then with the oil or the butter juice, shower it or give it a little extra on top.
Okay. You lather it in oil.
You lather it in oil, and then I put it in the oven.
Oven. And okay, now this is important. You said that you cook it a few degrees under, so you use a thermometer.
No, I know how to
Oh,
cook.
oh shit. Okay, so this is the aggressive cook speaking now. The
Right,
chef.
this aggressive talk right now. No,
Okay, how do you?
I don't know. I just do it by feel. You know how they do like the touch of the meat?
Mm-hmm.
I just do that, and I kind of know where I'm at.
Damn.
I do
Okay.
that at work a lot.
You
We
you
don't
you,
cook chicken like that,
you
but
just jinx
steak
it.
tonight I'm just gonna overcook all the fucking meats. No, I don't know, just by feel, by internal timing. I don't have a way
Okay,
of
so let me ask
explaining.
this: is this a very personal thing to you, or is it the case that in the world of professional chefing, using a thermometer to know when your meat is ready, is that something that's considered in that world sort of gay?
Super day.
Okay, so like if you're caught doing that in a kitchen, they're like gay, and I don't mean like yeah,
So
people understand what we mean. Like even Johnny, who has a boyfriend, and we spend Christmas sometimes together. He looks at you as a line cook himself, and he's like, my chef is measuring the temperature on the chicken. I might as well just invite him in the next cruise ship that we're doing for the LGBT parade.
I don't mind the thermometer if it's like a thick piece of meat or if you're doing something specific. But being in service and just taking out your thermometer from your jacket, they usually have it here on the side. Then open it and sticking it in, waiting until that temperature rises. To me, it just feels like it's wasting time. Doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong, but you're wasting time. You're also in the shits. You have other. What are you gonna do? Stick it in every single piece of meat? That's what people do, or
Right.
that's what other cooks do.
I mean, especially in San Francisco, people just stick it in different pieces of meat, and it is sort of it's not frowned
And they don't
upon.
care. Right,
Right.
right. It's not.
Oh.
You're not gonna get in trouble.
You
I don't
might
know.
get
I
a little
think
burning feeling, but that's another thing. You got to check with
wanting to do
your
something else.
urologist. Okay, so what about this? So what you're saying is, look, we might accept it if you're doing a brisket that you're slow cooking for 12 hours.
Wait. I'm doing that for steaks, for example. But if you're doing like chicken all the time or pork all the time, I would understand if you take out your thermometer. So I
You
don't.
would
It's
understand?
not. I would. It would not be a big problem. Also, because pork or chicken, people don't like to eat it raw or undercooked. Then I would understand. But stuff like steaks, like beef or lamb that you can eat undercooked, and that it's okay. I don't feel that a thermometer is needed all the time.
Okay, so for example, sometimes we like to ask, what would Tony Bourdain say?
Recipe. Huh.
Rest in power, big dog. What do you think? Do you think Anthony Bourdain was using a thermometer when he was working the kitchens of, La Salle, wherever in New York?
He'll probably burn you with a cigarette.
Right, probably throw a knife to your head, right, if he saw you with a thermometer. Now, for the common man, okay, I know you're part of an elite group of culinary experts, and we appreciate sometimes you getting a little arrogant because at the end of the day, you are part of a very exclusive member group of chefs in the world. But for a common man like me, somebody that just finished high school barely, has a thick accent and has issues getting employment. Is it fine for me to get a thermometer for food from Amazon and just test my food out? So, like for example, for chicken, if I'm making chicken breasts, they're thicker, but I want them to be juicy because if you go over a chicken breast, it's just disgusting. Am I allowed to use a little thermometer to know? And also, if I do, is it accurate? Like, does it actually work?
It does actually work. I mean, unless you're grabbing like a very cheap thermometer, it should be good, no? If you're a home cook, that you're not really used to the whole feeling the meat situation, I think it's okay.
I mean, I've been feeling my meat for decades, but I get you. Sometimes it's daunting, daunting,
I like to feel your
daunting.
meat too. What?
Okay. I mean, whenever you come to Europe, we take advantage.
We take advantage of the time that we've lost.
Yeah, the time that we lost and lost. Okay, so for example, I mean, another time that I've been thinking, okay, maybe the temperature. Is it right to measure it? Like when you had your kid, right? Your offspring. I remember you told me you bought a it's like a little machine or something that heated the milk to the right temperature and told you when it
Right.
was fine. Or maybe it was just a thermometer that you used. And I remember you telling me you told this to your mom, and your mama was like, "You're gay," right? So
She did the same as I would to a cook when they use a thermometer for the meat. Yeah, she's like, what? Well, why are you doing that? Just there's certain places in your body that are how do
sensitive
you say
to
sensitive to the heat, and you would know, like the underhand, like this part
right
right
where
here.
you normally measure your heart rate when you've done too much of the cocorino.
Right, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah,
Eh,
a little fun tip for the adventure ones that we have on the podcast.
well, all right. So, okay, you brought it up. I didn't want to bring it up, but you did. I have this thing at work that's called a cake test. It's usually used for cake to see if they're done. It's just
It's
a
usually
metal
it's used for what? For K?
for cakes,
Oh, like a cake, like a
like a cake,
sweet.
pastry cake,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
So they're used for the cake. You put it in the middle, and then you take it out and you see if it's done. I use it for my meats if I need it. Like I'll put it in and then I'll take it out and I'll taste it, or I test it, not taste, but test it, either here in the under palm or under my lip.
But what are you testing?
So when
The temperature?
I do
or-
that, right? When I do that, I see if the center of the meat is warm, or depending on the warmth of the center of the meat, then I can assess where that
Damn.
meat cook
So
is.
you're so opposed to using a thermometer, you
I'll
would
use
stick
any.
a stick in it and then still try to fucking in your mind sort of
It works.
gauge. Okay, I mean, but I guess it's also a consistency thing, right? When you put it in and you take it out, you're able to know the consistency.
Right.
And that allows you to know. Yeah, I mean, I think that you're being a little bit, what's the word?
Ridiculous.
Yeah, because obviously you're dealing with the meat on a daily. How many meats are you touching on a daily basis? A lot, right?
A lot.
I'm not. So I guess you just have a thing for it. And if you make the same type of meat, same length, same weight, roughly, you just got it in you, right? Like when I do a Bolognese sauce, which I'm probably gonna do tomorrow. I try to do one every week.
Yeah.
No, just to honor Mussolini and everything he did for the country. So I need to do a bolognese. I have a few things. I mean, I know I'm gonna use this amount of meat, but when it comes to the onions, the garlic,
Oh,
that
that's just
that
that's
just
just my
goes
look.
by the heart. Yeah, that just goes by the heart. I mean, am I gonna use half a carrot, three quarters? That's just
You
something I
use what you
decide,
have.
and I decided on the moment.
I feel you. That's
and
how I do.
and I feel like now I have a little cosmic feeling that you probably feel with everything you cook, but I only feel it with certain plates that I've already mastered, right? And there's a few of them. Like maybe I can count with my hand, but one of them is the bolognese, which I'm very proud of. And recently I made it to my mom and dad, and my dad is very, very hard critic, right?
But that's good, right?
Yeah, he's like he could be one of the Michelin guys that go and go hidden into Michelin restaurants and then they test it and then they give you like a little report or whatever. And he, has no issues just, letting me know if I failed as a cook and a son. He's very open about that.
As a cook and a son.
Yeah, yeah. And he loved it. He loved it.
Okay. Okay.
Nevertheless, he did have a critique because that's just classic. I mean, if your parents aren't critiquing something, then they don't give a fuck about you. You might be adopted. You might want to do a little 23andMe and check if maybe you came from, Eastern European country, They were giving them away back in the day. No, but he said, look, everything's is amazing. The only thing I would do is I would crush the meat, it's not a meatball, but sometimes the meat clumps together and makes little clumps. He's like squish it while you're cooking it so that it all comes out like a little more sandy, I guess. I'm trying to find the way to describe it. So it is a good critique, and tomorrow when I do it, I'm going to apply that, and I might just have reached sort of the pinnacle of perfection on that Bolognese sauce.
Yeah. I wanted the recipe. I gave you my recipe when I went.
I'm happy to. But part of the problem is that, like you say, I don't have a specific recipe. I mean, I have the ingredients, but then, I'll say it to the people. I'll say it to the people. I mean, it's simple. It's just, the first thing is to get really good ground beef. Not the one that looks pinkish. Like, it needs to look fucking dark, right? Like, you want that pure shit. If you have a friend that sells that pure, yeah, you need some of that. Then I get crushed tomatoes. I don't use spaced or fried tomato because that thickness is just too strong. That's for beginners. You want to use just crushed tomatoes. If you want to do them yourself, crush them yourself. And then onions, garlic, and I put some carrot pieces so that it cancels the acidity of the tomato. I put a little bit of chicken broth so that it can start reducing it all, and I cook it slow for maybe 2 hours. And then I get that consistency going. Oh, I put a laurel, which is a baby leaf. Bay leaf. And then at the end of it, I take out the bay leaves and the carrot pieces just, for aesthetic.
Oh, but you do big carrot pieces.
Yeah. Like for example, I get a big carrot, I peel it, of course, and then I cut it in four pieces.
Okay, I see.
I've heard of people actually using the carrot and mixing it in like with the thing.
That's usually what I do. I cut it into small pieces and then I add it to my sofrito, if you will.
The sofrito. So for people that don't know the sofrito, it's pretty much just the sofrito. Well, what is it? How do you call that when you get a bunch of?
I think it's like the base.
Yeah, the base. It's just a bunch of cut up, vegetables like onions, like garlic and the carrots.
Every country has their own sofrito base.
Right.
Like I know in Spain they use a lot of paprika or like smoked paprika, peppers. What else? I think if
I'm not mistaken, in the U.S. the base that they use is Mountain Dew with fire Taco Bell sauce. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's the base.
It sounds right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that our countries in the South, they do their own thing too. Peppers, onions, what else? Tomatoes. I don't know. Each country has their own sofrito base.
Yeah.
But I'm with you. I think it's a good base for your bolognese. Now, what do you think it needs to be brought up a notch? One more space.
Well, I mean, obviously at the moment I feel, aside from crushing the meat clumps a little more so that it comes out with a better consistency, I believe I'm at a very great place. Now, if I tell an Italian person about my recipe, they're going to tell me...
Get pissed.
Yeah, they'll get pissed. They're like, oh, that's not even how it goes. My grandma used this when she was alive. I'll be like, okay, whatever.
Welcome.
Yeah. Like, this is my own version of it. Now, could it be improved? I mean, I guess it could. I will once try to do the sofrito with the carrots and see if that brings it up a notch. But I'm loving it. I mean, right now, I like it. It's not too thick. It's not too gooey. It's just perfect. And it wraps around the pasta. It gives me an orgasmic session in the mouth. And it's just really, it just hits the heart. It hits the heart. And another recipe that we've doing recently, I'm doing it with my girlfriend because she's the one that does it. But I was able to find the recipe. What I did is I just went to ChatGPT and I asked for the best recipe for pancakes. But my girlfriend had been wanting to do pancakes and she tried it for many weekends. And it always came out bad. Ooh. It was always like this thick clump. It wasn't fluffy. And then finally, now we got it to a perfection. And it's been like 2 weekends that we're doing pancakes with eggs and bacon. And it's just been going great. Our relationship is better. I think I think we might stay together now.
You know what? I started doing that, and I looked up a lot of pancake recipes, and none of them came out how we wanted. So we reverted back to the old on demand box.
Mm.
You know how they sell you the powder,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just mixing like milk or water or whatever the fuck they put in that shit. So I've been reverting or going back into that rather than doing my own mix because it hasn't been coming out great. I'll be honest.
No.
I've looked at different recipes and different techniques, and none of them have been great. So right now, I'm going back to the box. I'm going to give myself a little time,
Yeah, I
think
think you
about
need.
it, do a little research, do a little R&D, and then I'll go back to the drawing board and come up with a
I'll
better
send you
recipe
the
for pancakes.
recipe that I have. It's very simple, and they're coming out pretty fire, fluffy. We even put some blueberries on that bitch. I might just start a restaurant over here. Where
Of
the
just
only thing
pancakes.
well, this is what we're gonna do. We have 2 plates that we sell only: pancakes with bacon and eggs and bolognese. and you can order it whenever. Like you can order the
Could be-
bolognese for breakfast
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
or the pancakes for dinner, whatever the fuck you want. Is gonna be there on lock, and we're gonna have one strong beer, right? And then one light beer for the bitches. And yeah, that's pretty much what we're gonna do. We're gonna call it, I don't know, bolognese pancake, some shit like that.
I like the idea. Just 2 dishes. That's it. You don't need any more. Maybe some steaks, but you can only use your thermometer from Amazon. I think you have to learn. You have to learn the feel of the steaks, of the meat. I was listening to your bolognese. I think it may have a solution for your clumps.
Okay, please share. Don't keep your secrets.
I wanna ask you this before I go into it. Do you sear your meat or do you just throw it in there? Like searing it meaning, are you getting some color from the meat and then stirring it?
Okay,
Or
so this is.
just-
Let me take you through my journey on this. When I started doing the bolognese many years ago, many moons ago, I started in this journey. I used to not get the meat crispy. I wouldn't sear it because in my mind, I wanted the meat to still be raw when I started cooking it with the tomato so that when it was over, it wasn't overly cooked. But then later, it came to me that regardless of that, because it's going to be cooked for so long, it's going to be cooked all the way regardless. And then I saw some Venezuelan chef say that you want to get it to sear because then we're going to get a little bit of that fat being extracted, and now that's also sort of making it better for the whole mixture because when you throw in the tomato, it grabs those little pieces of the burnt ends and it just makes it better. Now I don't sear it all the way because I feel like I lose too much of the vegetables being burned, although there are ways of just doing the vegetables on one side and the meat on the other. But at the end of the day, I am doing it in a format of a normal person cooking at home and not a chef. So
like a one pot.
right. So in
pot.
one pot, I throw in the onions. Then after that, I throw in the garlic because the garlic gets cooked faster. Of course, this is extra virgin oil. This oil has
Yeah.
never even touched itself ever.
Extra, super extra.
Yeah, extra virgin. Like this shit is So it's even sewn in. It's sewn so that he can't even enter it. It's crazy. This oil. And then I throw the meat, and then I start mixing it all in, searing it. But then I feel that if I crisp up the meat too much, then I'm gonna burn the vegetable. So tell me a little bit about the solution for the clumpiness. Tell me where I'm going wrong, what you do, and if it's even worth for me to continue in this journey, or if I just should get a Chipotle card or some shit.
I think there's a couple of things that might be going on. And some things that can help you out is maybe take your meat out about an hour before you start cooking. So it can temporary. The cold meat into a hot pan is just it's gonna be like how would you say, like a reaction where it just the first instinct is to just like clump up to like get tough. That's why you kind of want to take it out, half an hour to an hour before you start cooking, so it starts getting room temp. And when you do that, it won't clump up, and you won't have like pieces of meatballs.
Okay, so that alone is going to avoid a lot of the clumpiness.
Correct.
Okay.
What else? Hot pan. You want like a hotter. Actually, you want like a little bit more fat content. Let's say you do like a 90-10,
Okay.
90 meat, 10 fat. Do like an 80-20.
Okay, so for people that aren't sort of versed in the cooking world, maybe all you do is, buy Maruchan
That lean
ramen, or maybe you just get, the dollar menu from McDonald's. I'm sure that doesn't exist. People are listening like, what is a dollar? What is a dollar? For people that don't know, 80-20, what could you explain for the people that aren't really, versed?
It's 80% meat, 20% fat. But when they ground it, they ground about that ratio. So you have a little bit more fat. Fat is gonna melt, and it's gonna make your sauce saucier.
Yeah,
And
saucier.
it's gonna make it more. It also with the steaks, because we're talking about steaks, you want your steak to have a nice piece of fat, because that's just gonna render out. That's gonna go into your meat, and it's gonna make it soft. It's gonna make it juicier. It's gonna make it taste better. If you see a lot of the times that you go eat a piece of steak in Europe, they generally have a big piece of fat, and that's because they don't trim it up. They want you to have, a little fat, a little. I don't know. I blubber. When I was young, I hated it. I hate that feel in your mouth, because when you bite into it, it's just. I don't know. It's like if it's not cooked well, it's like it's crunchy. It's a weird sensation.
Yeah, it's gooey. Would you say that eating the fatties is more of an acquired taste when you're older?
Definitely.
Okay.
Eating the fatties is not acquired
Yeah,
taste.
because when I was younger, I was just like, no, hey, no, we're going out, and Stephanie's going. I'm like, Stephanie? Stephanie, the one that was rescued from SeaWorld? Yeah, please, no. But now, I mean, I'm a married man pretty much. But now, yeah, I wouldn't mind the fat. Lizzo, come through.
I think you have certain points there.
Yeah, like it's an acquired taste, and once you acquire it, right? Once you get used to like, okay, oh, this is where I grab, this is the handles. Now you're like, okay, I can do this.
Have you ever had wagyu?
Wagyu?
Wagyu.
I haven't had Wagyu. I haven't had Kobe. But I have. I've seen it. I mean, I know the concept of it, right? It's very marbly because it has all this fat in between the fibers, which continue, because this is where it's gonna get interesting.
Well, then it makes it more tender. It makes it juicier. It makes it taste better. Also, those cows are treated with a lot of love and respect.
Right, and
Just
by
like
this we mean that the
anybody would eat.
Japanese men do have love and tender relationships with the cows, and that's not something to criticize. That's just a different culture.
You see how there's Tio Martinez or Uncle Martinez everywhere in the world?
Yeah, of course. The uncle. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I wouldn't doubt that some of those Tio Tagashi just going into town with a nice
I mean
cow.
the whole agrarian animal loving community. Sometimes people
That's a
think it's
worldwide thing.
yeah, it's a worldwide thing, but people think it's just South America because that's where they do it the best. But no, this happens everywhere. Japan too. If you get to a rural place enough, you'll find a Japanese doing his thing. And thankfully for the Japanese animals, they're a lot more gentle than the South Americans. I hear.
That's why they can sell it for $500 and $800.
And that's why the cows allow them to do it, on a daily basis. But anyways, that's how you get the marbling on the meat. You don't get that marbling, from just eating grains and shit. No, you have a Japanese loving man taking care of you on the daily. And that's what people don't see behind the scenes, right? Like, oh, why is it Kobe? Oh, so I'm paying $150 for 400 grams of meat? Yeah, bro. You know what happened for that meat to be that? Huh?
What else? What else? Bigger pan also helps your meat to not clump up.
A bigger pan.
That's a mistake I always make. Though. I always have to go with what I have.
Yeah.
Not all the time I have the biggest pan, but if you have a bigger one, that way you can spread the meat evenly throughout the cooking surface, and it shouldn't clump up.
Now, what I do is the ratio of sauce and meat in my bolognese is a high ratio of meat. So when you eat if you come to my house, if you get, at one point, not you specifically, but someone that listens to us on a regular, maybe one of the VIP listeners, if you get the pleasure and privilege of having a dinner at my crib once, in the future, and you have the bolognese, you'll notice that it's very meaty. It's not a sauce that you're thinking, oh, this person is sort of spreading it so that it could serve a lot of people. No, there's a lot of meat here. It's actually, damn, am I getting too much meat in my mouth? That should be the thought you're having when you're eating at my house. And this is not a Diddy party or anything, a reference.
I love the idea.
Because sometimes you eat a bolognese where you're like, where's the meat? Are we like in the Holocaust? What's happening? Where's the meat? Are we in crisis? Is this a gulag in Russia? Where's the meat? But when you come to my crib, you'll see the meat. You're gonna have to push meat away to find a pasta piece. That's how I do
like
it.
that. I like that. I
so
want
much
my
meat
sauce to be meat
that when you throw the Parmesan cheese just fucking disappears. It's gone.
Parmigiano
Regino. Okay, now let's get to the really meaty.
The meaty,
when it comes to rawness, right? Because people know in this podcast we're raw. Would you say that you raw dog life?
What?
You raw dog life?
Life. A raw dog life. Yes, you have to go through it raw.
Right, because when shit's so hard of fucking inflation, you gotta raw dog it. No, but when it comes to the rawness of things, right? The things that you sort of want more raw or that are more acceptable in the raw is seafood. And my question here is, how raw do you eat your seafood? Not all of it. Some of it is meant to be, fried or whatever. But when it comes to fish that you eat raw, and I'm not sure if you're too much of a fish connoisseur, even though you worked a lot with fish. Not in a fish school or anything, but just, cooking it. What is the rawest that you eat fish? And when I say the rawest in the scale, the rawest will be the motherfuckers moving, right? Like a live animal is the rawest that you can get.
I've had a live fish, like fish who were just unalived 10 seconds ago.
No, but that's not alive.
Right.
That's that's the freshest you can have with it still being dead.
I have to think. Does oysters and all that shit count?
Yeah, that counts. That counts. They're alive. They're fucking dumb. They don't even know what's happening, but they're alive.
Uni, I guess.
What's uni?
I'm trying to think.
What's uni?
Uni is a sea urchin.
Oh, a sea urchin.
Like sea urchin is like this ball with a lot of spikes.
Oh, okay,
and once you cut it open, it has the gonads.
Because, like, for example, in China, I think they have like little animals that are still moving, and then they eat them alive.
The squid.
Yeah, even the squid I've seen.
I've seen the squid.
What do you think of that? Because to me, that's like where I draw the line. Call me old-fashioned, but that's where I draw the line. If the thing's moving,
you draw the line at moving.
Yeah, if you're moving,
okay.
If you're playing dead, then I'll play ball.
Shit. Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I've had like. Well, no, just kidding. Like raw shrimp, I've had like still flopping, kind of taking the head off, some of the shell off.
Okay. Any different feeling or?
No, it's the same shit. It tastes fresher.
Okay,
But
so would I be correct in saying then if you have no problem, with eating some fish that's still like, moving and thinking they're gonna make it home before you sever their head, you have no
but
problem
that's
with just raw fish, like just fresh. It's dead, it's killed, but it's just raw with
yeah,
fish.
no problem. Well, if you eat the not the sushi, the other one,
The nagiri.
the nigiri and all that stuff, I guess that's
Yeah, that's raw
as fresh
fish.
I could
I
get.
like it. I mean, I guess I'm very careful where I eat fish because fish is some delicate thing. But like one of the things that I want to do is go to like a little fishing town in Japan, maybe where Shohei Otani's from. I don't know where, maybe he's from the capital, but I want a rural town like Kyoto, maybe. I don't know. That has a coast. And then I just go into like a fisherman's boat for a day, and he takes me out and, us, our families, and he just catches things right there, cuts them up, unalives them, and then pours little soy sauce and salt and tells you, hey, that's the essence of life right there. And you eat it and you feel like, damn, I can still feel these fish's thoughts and memories.
You know, they have a particular way of unaliving fish and making it fresh. So they cut like the neck of the fish, and then they insert a rod through their spine. And I forget what that does, but it's called like ikejime or
Ikejime.
ikejime technique.
And
Where
this is
they-
Japanese technique.
Yes,
I
they
think it's
cut
from the
neck,
samurai times. Yeah.
and then they insert a rod through the spine, and that I don't know what it does. I would have to look it up, but it
Probably hurts.
says
That's probably what it does. It hurts.
it says that it makes the fish fresher, or maybe it has to do with the blood. I don't know. I would have to look it up again, but yeah, they say that it's fresher. It makes it give a more natural taste rather than, and I don't know what that. I've never had that.
Can we make a little commitment? Because I know people that listen to the podcast are like, damn, that's interesting, but you didn't sort of finish the idea. Can we make a little commitment to have more information as to why it is that sticking the rod in the fish makes it fresher? And yeah, and we can clear that up next time.
I can't even look it up now.
You can look it up now too.
That's how prepared we are.
That's how prepared we are. We prepare this shit months in advance. We speak to the TV stations. They give us the green light, and we're prepared as fuck. No, because some people might be thinking, hey, can I do this with my girlfriend and make her fresher? I mean, I don't know. Like people wonder, what are the different things you can do? Can I grab this thing and put it through the spine of my brother and eat him fresh because he's been annoying me for a minute? There's different techniques even with deer, and where like you kill the deer, but then you gotta sort of take out like this little sack that they have with like the piss, and this thing can contaminate the meat. It happens with wild pork, Sometimes they have this little thing inside that you need to take out, otherwise it will contaminate the meat and make it taste bad.
So ikejime is a method of unaliving the fish that maintains the quality of its meat. It involves inserting a spike quickly and directly into the head brain, so like the back of the head, usually located behind the eye, thereby causing immediate brain death. After spiking the brain, a thick needle is pierced. Fuck, I don't know how to read.
That's fine.
Sorry. A spike in the brain, a needle, or a piece of wire is inserted into the spinal column to prevent any further muscle movement. When spiked correctly, the fish fins flare and the fish relaxes, immediately ceasing all motion. I guess it won't tense up the meat.
Right, because it's sort of like you're not giving it enough time to react and be scared and tense up the meat. You're killing it. Sorry, I shouldn't say that word because YouTube is being fucking just messing us up so much. You want to live it in a way that's so quick that he doesn't even have time to tense up, So he stays soft and juicy for your own enjoyment.
You're basically making it a vegetable.
Oh, so he's not even unalive yet.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it
think
causes.
nah, you're kidding it because like if it's brain dead, it's gone. But I guess what you're doing it, and I think they do this also with like cows and stuff, where you go for the brain first, so that they're not in a process of dying. Because when it takes time for you to go, and I mean I've heard this from ghosts and spirits have told me, if it takes time for you to go, then your body's reacting to it and getting tense and getting nervous. But if it's like this, bah, which is how I want to go. I mean, not through a spear in my head by a Japanese fisherman, but I mean, I want it to be quick, right? Then I feel like your body doesn't even react and doesn't tense up the food. So that's a great way. That's a great thing. Guys at home, if you want to make a nice little dinner for your wife or your girlfriend or whatever it is that you fuck at night, then get a live fish and do this thing your own like a man.
I feel like that could also be done in certain parts of Spain where they have, or the fishing community can do that. I think it's a Japanese thing that has just moved to the West. How about that? I'm pretty sure some Spanish monkfish. Is that how you say it? Anyways, fishermen would do that. Bunkers? I don't know how to.
Bunkers? That's how they call fishermen?
No, I think it's like fish bunkers.
Mm.
I don't know. Those are
Who are
new
those? The
words
people
for
that
me.
murder fishes?
Let's look it up. That's what we have.
Yeah, that's what we have ChatGPT. I mean, this whole show is run by AI. So if you didn't know, now you know.
Fishmongers are someone who sells raw fish.
Oh, I thought you were just making shit up.
No,
You
no,
have
I'm not that
improved.
fucking
No, you have
stupid.
improved your English. So, and for people that might be listening, Chef Maurice, yeah, all the food, yeah, great stuff. But what about your reading capabilities? Well, he's trying, guys. Okay,
I can only get better at one thing at a
right,
time.
right, and he is getting better. Believe me, I know him since we were like 10, and this
Also,
motherfucker. What?
I'm sick.
I'm sick.
It's just
Oh,
not
yeah,
helping. I'm
like
under
he's
the
sick.
weather.
Yeah, he's under the weather. Not like he's sick mentally, like on the long run. Like more.
That too.
I mean, that too, but that's not what's causing his voice to sound worse. I mean, is it the case that his accent is completely due to the flu that he has? No, of course not. But it is making it worse.
I wonder if any of my coworkers, present or past, have ever seen us talk. Our little episodes. I think
find
that
it
would be very, very interesting.
I find it funny when every once in a while I get like a new follower on Instagram or something, and it's like a long, back in the day person I went to school with. And then I'm just like, for a second, I think, what is this person, thinking when he sees this? He's like, like, what the hell? Like in my mind, I'm thinking, are they in their head saying, damn, good for this guy, Oh, I also know the chef. Damn, they're doing well. Or, goddamn, poor people. I really feel bad for them. Like it's gonna be
This is
bad
how
for them
low
and
they got it.
yeah. It's gonna be bad for them and their families. One of them has a kid. That's crazy.
Never thought that would happen. Actually, well, so I've been posting a lot of TikToks during my work hours, like
Okay.
on my break, during family meal. I know you love that term. I usually post a lot of TikToks, and I wonder if, since I'm using the restaurant's Wi-Fi, that
Oh, you mean
algorithm.
you're posting a lot of TikToks of the podcast?
Right. Sorry,
Right,
again, English is my second language.
It's not like you're going around San Francisco vlogging.
No. I'm just posting reels or some shorts.
And
for
maybe
TikTok.
what you're saying is because this could be a thing. Like the Wi-Fi recognizes that you're doing this, and then it sort of feeds that to the other people
Right.
there.
And I'm a little afraid that could happen,
Yeah, no,
but
I
at the
get it.
same time, I'm like, fuck it, dog. Let's
Yeah, I
see how
mean,
it
right
goes.
now in my employment journey, like I'm considering, even like Forklift, Taco Bell, Five Guys. So at this stage, I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think they would mind, right? Or maybe I can't even get a job there. They're like, hey, we saw you talking about
Maybe we need to start talking better about Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Well, I've always talked better about Taco Bell. Like Taco Bell is always like it's always like in my heart. Even when I moved to Spain, I was all alone. One of the things I used to do on Tuesdays, they have it's a €1, but let's just say $1, because some Americans are like, "What's a euro? I don't even get it. Like, why do they even use it?" Like, so imagine $1 for a taco and a beer, and that was me alone, 25 years old, lost in life.
That's like a great plan, though.
Yeah, it was a
Beer,
great plan.
taco.
For like $10, I would get wasted, and then next day I would have a whole colonoscopy.
Would you eat one taco and 9 beers, or divided 5 and 5?
No. I don't think you're getting the offer. I don't think you're understanding
okay.
the offer. No.
I'm not.
The dollar included a taco and a beer.
Oh, okay.
So
Damn,
at the
that's
end
a good
of
offer.
at the end of the evening, it was 10 tacos and 10 beers.
It's
And call me
That's
old fashioned, but that was. I used to feel good about myself. Like I was broke as hell. I was all alone in a whole new continent. But inside of me, I was like, at least I know I have my food, sort of taken care of for tonight. My drinking, I got it taken care of. I need to, barely getting home. And then tomorrow, I know I'm going to cleanse my stomach. So it's like 3 in 1.
better than Pepto-Bismol.
Better than Pepto-Bismol, better than just getting a colonoscopy. It's just the best way to clean your system. Taco Bell, get the fire sauce. There's no way your bowels are not gonna.
Do they have
filter.
those sauces in Spain? The medium mild.
They do, but you know what they do in
fuck?
Spain? And for people from the US, they're gonna like be with me on this. In Taco Bell, the most famous sauce that they give you, and they ask you like every time you get, do you want ketchup? And in my mind, I'm like, you should close all your stores here in Spain and never
What?
talk to me again. Yeah. And then I'm like, no. I want the spicy one, and I want the spiciest. And people don't get those there.
Oh,
Yeah, like one thing you will notice, and I mean, the U.S. doesn't fall behind too much because ketchup is used a lot over there too. But Taco Bell offering, like here, fast food restaurants, everyone just goes for ketchup. And to me, ketchup is just a basic bitch sauce.
it's a basic pick.
If you use ketchup, know that you're a basic bitch and that you can improve and change that. Next time you go to the supermarket, I'm not saying throw away the ketchup you have at home. Keep it. But just don't get new ones. It's kind of like my solution for immigration. I understand we cannot kick out the ones that are there already, right? Like the ones that already made it in. All right, buddy, you're good. But we cannot let in new ones. That's what I believe. But anyways, ketchup. So
what do you do with a spicy one? Like you don't get the spicy one over there?
Oh, no, yeah. They have it too. It's just that nobody else gets it. It's just me.
Oh, I see.
The Taco Bell Corporation takes 3 types of spicy sauce, light, medium, and fire, just for me. Because everyone else in Spain eats their tacos
For ketchup, gotcha.
with ketchup. So I'm not going to say anything, right? Because I love Spain. I love my people. But yeah.
Say
That does say something,
You know, that story reminded me of a story of when we just had moved to San Francisco and we went to a Chinese restaurant that sold dim sums. And it was me and my girl, and we were just having a nice lunch. And all of a sudden, the guy comes in with a small plate of. And I just looked around to see.
You got cut off there. What? He came in with what?
With a small dish, a small plate of ketchup.
Okay.
And I just looked around to see if they were just giving it away to every single table, and they weren't. I feel like.
And what were you eating? What was the food?
Dim sum.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they just gave me ketchup, and I felt so betrayed.
Because they didn't give ketchup to the other patrons there. And the other patrons were Asian, right? But because they saw you as non-Asian, they're like, this person has culinary disability. Just give them ketchup.
And I thought it was like sriracha or something spicy. So I went with my chopstick and I tried it, and I saw it was ketchup, and I got so mad. I felt insulted.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
Damn, that's how Spaniards feel when they get ketchup on Taco Bell.
No,
Now,
sometimes people think that racism just goes one way. It goes the other way too.
now, how would Spaniards feel if they put ketchup on their Spanish omelet, Spanish tortilla?
Yeah, oh, that would be very bad.
That's what I'm saying. Or same with the brava sauce, right? Salsa brava. They make it non-spicy over there. Tell me,
Well,
it's brava.
I mean, salsa brava is supposed to be spicy in Spain, but it's not really spicy. I mean, the standard
just
for
ketchup.
spice, yeah, it's just a little ketchup. The spiciness in Spain is very low, the threshold, but that's fine. Not everybody, has an asshole that's ready for to process the amount of spicy. The other day, I went to an Indian restaurant
And your asshole was ready.
and I had 2 days, 3 days, I'd say 2.5 of where my asshole had to sort of rebuild itself after some bloody days.
Did you go with your parents?
No, I went with my friends. I went on a boys' night out.
Okay. Then everybody was able to take in the spice.
No, just two of us. As one of us in the group that's a little bit, sort of bisexual or something, and he doesn't do spiciness. So we get him the butter chicken.
That's a
And
good
we-
way of insulting
I-
him without telling him shit.
And we laugh at him when we order it, and we laugh with the Indian lady that's there. She's like, "Oh, really? Yeah, yes, for the baby." And then me and my other friend, we go harder than the pain with the spiciness.
Did the butter chicken person, is he Venezuelan?
No, he's not Venezuelan. He's actually
Okay.
from San Martin, Caribbean island, but his family's from Dominican Republic. He's a bit of a weird mix, but in any case, yeah.
Wow.
From now on, I'm gonna call him butter chicken.
Man, what a bitch, dude.
Yeah, butter chicken all the way. I was like, what's wrong with you? I mean, and even isn't like Caribbean people
Supposed to.
aren't they supposed to like spicy?
Right,
Or am
right.
I mistaken here?
No, that's what I thought too. But you a bitch.
Now, recently I went to the hot pot place I was talking to you about. You can get two soups combined into one bowl. You can even get three of them, but I got two. One, no
It has
spicy.
like a partition.
Yeah, it has a partition like a little yin yang, very cute. And then one of it is no spicy, and the other one was low spicy, so like the lightest spice, and that was already spicy. And I remember I've told this story before. I went to a hot pot place. I told them, "Look, I want medium spicy," and he's like, "Look, that
Are
medium
you sure?
is for like the locals." I'm like, "Locals? This is Spain." He's like, "Well, locals meaning the ones from Vietnam or whatever." And then I'm like, I don't even think you know who I am, right? So, like, don't even look at me in the face like that. Don't talk to me with that tone. When I say medium spicy, you bring that shit because I'm ready for it. I don't understand you. I don't think you understand the man I am. And they brought the spicy, the medium. It was definitely too spicy. I barely was able to finish it. And for the next week, my butthole did a whole reconstruction sort of system thing going on. Like the walls that were there were broken down. I mean, I don't want to. I guess the only way to put it is for the next 7 days, I experienced what a period is through my asshole. So for people that don't know, like, oh, are you a woman, man? Well, I'm a man, I think, but I have experience. I have had my period once through my a-hole.
Were you a Tampax girl?
No Tampax, bro. But when you're wiping and you still need to wipe, but that paper's printing red, and you're like, damn, as much as I want to continue to wipe, I need to stop.
What I was trying to get to is, did your parents enjoy the spice?
In the hot pot, yeah, my dad really likes this new thing. It's very hard for my dad to like different things that are not like just steak and potatoes. Like, so if I take him to sushi, doesn't like it. The Indian place, doesn't like him. But I took him to hot pot, and for some reason, I don't know why, he liked it. I don't know if because in his mind, I don't know, he really liked the Vietnam War or some shit, but he likes the hot pot. He likes to pour it in. He likes the whole family thing. Because like this last hot pot we went to, although it was Asian, what's it called? The waiter was this like Venezuelan young guy who you could tell was part of the community, you know?
The Asian community.
No, not the Asian community. The other community. The other community that's also in San Francisco, but it's not the Asian one.
I gotcha. Yeah.
And he was such a sweet kid. He told us, look, he asked us, have you been, to one of these things before? And I have, but I kind of wanted to just be the newbie. I wanted him to give us the whole thing. So I was like, no, I've never been. He's like, oh, let me explain. This is a style of eating where it's like very family friendly. You want to share with the people that you have around, and you eat it together, and the things that you order, you share them, and you all try them, and then, you put your I mean, they gave us forks because obviously they looked at our eyes and they said these motherfuckers cannot handle a chopstick. I try to handle a chopstick sort of to say, hey, I know you misjudged me, you discriminated against, you tell me I need a fork, I don't need no fork. 3 minutes later, forks went inside the soup bowl. The sticks, I need a fork. Of course, they were right. They weren't discriminating. They were just going by statistics. They know if they look at a Latino boy like me, they know that guy doesn't know how to use chopsticks. And that kind of made me sad because I do use chopsticks for sushi, but for hot pot, it becomes harder because now you have to grip the meat well.
I've had those situations before. So the ketchup in the Asian restaurant and less spicy on a taco stand in Mexico, just because I wasn't from Mexico. It's just one of those like, don't judge the book by its cover, dude. I can handle the heat. I can handle the I don't need the fucking ketchup for my dim sum.
Now, as much as I want to talk shit because they have misjudged me in the past, I do also gotta give credit where it's due. Whenever I had those situations and I prove myself to them that I am able to bear the spiciness, then when they come back and they're like, oh, did you like it? Was it spicy good? I'm like, oh, I loved it. And they looked at me like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. Like, they don't say it, but in their eyes, what they're saying is, I'm sorry, master. I didn't know you were about that life. Now I know. So now, from now on, I respect you. And then they bow. They do a little bow. Boom.
Do you have a certain meat that you use for your hot pot? Or you I don't know, you like to...
We get an array of different ones. So we get lamb, we get, beef, we get pork, and it's all thin sliced in rolls. I also grab some meatballs and some gyozas.
Okay.
Is that how you say it in San Francisco, a gyoza?
Yes. That's how you say it in English, right?
But I mean, no, I'm saying because maybe they're called something else.
No, gyozas.
Mm-hmm. Like I don't know, like a little Asian pouch.
As you can see, I have a new background for the time being.
Yeah, it seems like you're like in the laundry room.
I'm in a part of my house where I'm very close to my neighbor, and my neighbor is from. She's from Japan.
From where?
Japan.
I couldn't hear. China?
She close. She's from Japan.
Oh, Japan. Okay.
So I feel like she could be a great integration to this episode.
Yeah, I don't know. Can you just knock on the wall real quick? Be like, hey, you want to join in? I would love to have a Japanese. Okay,
what?
before Japanese on the show, not like a Japanese, like a prisoner. Quick thing here before we leave. We have been chasing a person as a pilot for airplanes, and given how things are going recently and planes going down, how are we doing on being able to get this person to speak on the podcast and tell us the secret of flying 50K up in the sky?
Nothing good. We're not good. I've shown you some of the messages that I've gotten from him. He's too needy. Like he feels like a diva. It's like, I want this, I want that. Like, fuck you, guy.
Right. I want this, the deposited here. I want a rider. Okay, well, for people that aren't aware, we're trying to get a pilot, like a real pilot that flies planes, to come on the show and talk to us about like questions that we have, different scenarios that we've noticed, the Malaysia plane, what do you think that could have happened? So maybe what we could do is rendezvous again with your contact and see if we can get this pilot without ever showing his face.
Okay.
He wouldn't even appear in the camera. But we want to talk to this person. He doesn't even have to say his real name, what airline he works for, nothing.
So for this conversation to happen, it's not going to be a black screen. It could be his silhouette, just no light hitting it, right?
I mean, that's a lot of work because we need to set up the camera for him, and he needs to be in a room like that. But
he's in another country too.
Yeah, he's in another. So I mean, literally, what we could do is just record his voice and no camera.
I'm gonna send him a picture right now of us recording.
Okay, send him a picture. Let him know. Look, a lot of people that listen to us are kind of tired of your running back and forth. They want to listen to a real pilot. Stop being a little bitcharoonie. We're not gonna show your face. We're not gonna share your name. We're not gonna share the airline that you work for, KLM. And we'll be able to find out exactly what it is that a pilot does. And there's a lot of questions now because what's the problem? Pilots cannot talk freely because they are working for a company that tells them, look, we cannot tell them that the planes are falling down, so tell them something else. Oh, it's all fake, whatever. But if we can get a pilot incognito, and it actually benefits us that this person is incognito because it allows us to ask spicier questions because we won't be, threatening this person's job. And if we can get a little info on how the flying stuff works, then I think people will be excited. And for the people listening, if you're excited about hearing a pilot in one of the next episodes, let us know. Leave on the comments and thumbs up the thing. You can leave reviews.
I feel like it could be a very long episode. Because he travels. It could be a long episode.
Oh, okay.
He travels, he eats, he takes photos, he does cool things other than fly a plane. So I think it could be a very good episode.
I mean, for 5 minutes we can talk about the other stuff he does. But
if he wasn't a little bitch, then we would have a very good episode.
Yeah, I mean, so some people fight each other, even unalive each other, for the opportunity of appearing in the Broski Doodles podcast. So
that's why we haven't had one in a while, because we make them go through a death.
Yeah, and I mean, to be honest, we barely let anybody in. We're very, hermetic in the way that we treat our podcast. But if it's a pilot that knows all the secrets about the Malaysia airplane and why some of the planes are falling down, then we'll have them on. Okay. For everybody else that's listening to us, if you have a weird job that you do, if you have even weird ideas and you're not afraid to be on camera and you're not a little bitch, then talk to us. Send me a message. Send Chef Maurice a message and we'll set it up. Don't forget, we're on every platform in existence. That's iTunes, Spotify, Pirate Bay, LimeWire, BearShare. I can't even remember the other ones. Apple Plus, everything. Please leave a rating on Spotify and iTunes. It really helps us because pretty much that's the only way we can get listeners now, because YouTube doesn't like us at all. They have a thing against us. I think it has to do with racism. They say something about our color or some shit. It's just crazy. So thumbs up the thing. Leave some comments. Leave a like and tell your friends to subscribe. It really helps us. I love you, Chef Maurice, directly from San Francisco. I'm hitting it up from Spain and Madrid. Keep it real, keep it classy, and keep it Gucci. Love you.